if you one of the motherfuckers who pirated Ultimate Spider-Man, it sucks for you because let me tell you right now, like it feels so good after all the hype to have the issue in your hands. Like you can't get this feeling from readcomic.com. I'm sorry. You can't.
Ugh,
You can't. Like this is wealth right here. This is wealth.
dude,
Th- th-
you don't. I don't know about you. My comic book smells like boycott.
Oh yeah. Mm. All right, y'all. What's going on? It's your boy Roliver Queen, and we are here to talk about Ultimate Spider-Man. And as always, I'm joined by a lovely, scrumptious, delicious, handsome, flavorful, and just awesome homeboy, Mark. Once again, reintroduce yourself to the channel.
Hey everyone, our nerd named Mark here. Oh, that was a good intro. You introduced me. I don't even need to introduce myself. I'm gonna clip that and use that for all my videos as an intro because
Oh, thank you.
gas me up.
Let's talk a little bit about the hype before we go into the main issue. I'll be honest. At first, I was like, you know what, Hickman on Spider-Man, eh. But then I think over time, especially after I saw the trailer, I was just like, this feels like it's gonna be a big thing. Because I feel like the energy around Hickman kind of died down a little bit after X-Men. And I know Gods is kind of like meh. People aren't really feeling that, but I feel like a little after the announcement, I felt the hype just build for Ultimate Spider-Man. And then the trailer came, I was like, I think I gotta get this. I gotta get this. And then lo and behold, this comic book is selling like fucking hotcakes.
Ugh. I never saw the trailer ever. I didn't
Oh,
even know there was I knew when what was the what led up to this Ultimate
Ultimate
Invasion or
Invasion,
Ultimate.
yeah.
I've got to get the trade for that whenever that drops. I'm assuming that's dropping this month or next month at
Yeah,
some point
because
because it's
it
done.
dropped over the summer, yeah.
Yeah, and so when I heard Hickman was doing Ultimate Spider-Man, they were bringing it back. I just went right to a comic book shop. I was like, put that on my pull list, and they're like, "Oh, do you want Ultimate?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna get the." I got the first issue from it. I'm like, I'm gonna trade weight. I don't really want to read this. I don't even know anything about the Ultimate Universe. I'm not really a big Ultimate Universe fan. But all I knew is it's Hickman. We remember House and Powers of X, what he
Yes.
did for X-Men after the floundering IP that was. Hell, I honestly think we should put Hickman on more stuff. Cancel Fantastic Four again. Give it a couple of years. Put him on Fantastic Four. Like, Hickman is magic when it comes to bringing back something that's floundering and kind of circling the drain. Yes, X-Men kind of. I stopped pulling X-Men after he ended it. There's certain names where if they're doing a new run, I don't care if it's a character I never heard of before. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I've been collecting Spider-Man since '92.
Hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be good.
See,
And
here's the crazy thing is that I've mentioned it before on this channel. I'm not a Spider-Man fan. Like this is the first ever Spider-Man comic book I am purchasing with my own money. First ever.
this is good.
First
This is a
ever.
good comic. It's good.
It's a great
I
comic.
mean,
Here's what I like about it is that I only have like a base knowledge of Spider-Man. Like I know the basics, how we got the powers, and yes, I'm keeping
mm,
tabs on what's currently happening in Amazing Spider-Man because that's always a shitstorm on Twitter. So I'm in the
yeah,
know. So I have a base knowledge, but I felt that Ultimate Spider-Man, even if I didn't read Ultimate Invasion or Ultimate Universe, like what I knew was enough, and it took what I knew and it flipped it on its head, which was awesome.
yeah.
Because like let's just fucking go. So let's start off with initial thoughts. Mark, what were your initial thoughts with the issue?
Oh, this was like something I've wanted because this is like a breath of fresh air. We get older Peter Parker without the powers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and also I already figured the name because I'm bad with names. Was it
Oh,
Chateau?
Mark
I'm bad with
Shadow.
names, dude. The artwork, like I'm just
Whoo!
like I'm like this man. Like, put him on more books, Marvel. Like, don't overwork him, but put him on your key titles or titles you think the story's good, but the art, like something to draw some people and put him on as many major books as you can right now because this artwork is from front to fin, especially the last page. Like everything about this book, the artwork was great. I mean, it threw me through a loop because we have Ben alive,
Yo.
and then J. Jonah Jameson, his character is just like there's so much staples that are kind of like turned on their head, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel out of character.
Yes.
And it feels like an
Yes.
Ultimate Universe because I'm familiar with how the Ultimate Universe works, obviously, but like this feels removed enough from main Spider-Man that we've gotten over the last 70 plus years that like,
Mm-hmm.
but it still feels like Spider-Man.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm so used to Ben dying. Like, I was kind of scrolling through the pages of, yo, when somebody gonna kill him, when he gonna get his wig blown
That's
off.
I was scared of that. I was
Yeah,
scared
but
of that.
it's, you can tell he's gonna be around for a while. Like, he feels like he's gonna be a staple character in this run. Even MJ and like her and Peter's relationship. I mentioned this to Ben the other day. Like, I felt that whole moment when they said, "Are we good?" I'm sorry, my heart was jumping because I was about to say, is he gonna say no, we're not good? But he said, no, we're good, and I was like, oh, they're praise goodness, praise
Yeah.
Zordon, praise whoever you believe in.
As someone who's had to put in person, I've had to be like, are we good? Like, I was like, oh, I feel that right now. Please just say they good because
Oh,
I know sometimes you gotta. It's there, and it's funny because their relationship still feels like the MJ Peter relationship too,
oh man,
even in this universe with kids, even because like there's the Amazing Spider-Man stuff that everyone is kind of was hating on a little bit, where it's like, oh, she's got kids with someone else, and Peter, like, listen, this everyone's saying this might be fan service because everyone wanted an older Peter with MJ with kids. It's fan service, but not for the sake of fan service. This is
exactly.
still the way it should, like the way a lot of people wanted it, but it still makes sense.
Yeah. It feels like there was thought put into it. It feels like there was care put into it. And yeah, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel forced.
No,
Not at any point where I felt that, even when I saw the kids, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Even when I saw
yeah,
Ben that is hanging around, even though I thought he was gonna die, but it still felt like, oh, this makes sense. One thing I do appreciate is that this was, we barely got any action, minus like there was like a part in the middle where Fisk got his car blown up, but then at the end that's really where things are ramping up.
yeah,
But what I like about this specifically is like the dialogue. I felt like the meat and potatoes of this was the dialogue, the character interactions. Like, I felt that
yeah.
in a way, to me, that was like the action, because the dialogue was just so well written. The characters, they have great voices. So far the story, it's shaping up to be something amazing. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think I kind of warmed up to the idea of Hickman being on this long term, because my understanding of Hickman is just like, Hickman is very big concept. Sometimes the shit makes your head hurt, but no, Hickman proved me wrong. Hickman proved that he
No,
can do some
he
grounded
got
shit,
it.
and he can write a good story, like, with something that's not too cosmic all over the place.
That's why I always bring up when people are like House and Powers of X. I'm like, no, when you guys go back, like if you guys haven't, go pick up the trade for it. Um, I bought way too many copies of that comic when it was dropping, but he handled like the dialogue is my favorite part of House and Powers of X. I couldn't tell you any of the action scenes or any of the conflicts, but I could tell you, oh, in the first Powers of X, when you had
Mhm.
Magneto and Xavier showed up and everything, they were talking to him, and he just went on that big diatribe about humanity and this and that. I was like, that's what stuck with me, not oh, and 3 more issues down, they fought and it was really cool. It's like, no, this is how they directed being back with the normal world. Like, nope, I don't remember any of that stuff. I remember the dialogue, the conversations. He
Mhm.
handles that so well. And it is one of the ones where I'm okay. There's no, like, there could have been no action in this comic. I'm fine with it. And usually I complain about that stuff. If anyone
Mhm.
sees my Son of Kal-El issues I had on my podcast where I was like, man, it's 6 issues. Superman had one fight, and I was like, this is stupid. But like, when you have just dialogue and character building and
Yeah.
showing all the dynamics of relationships, I'm okay with no action because there's a purpose behind it.
Yeah, and it feels like when we do get to the action, it's gonna be so much
Oh,
more earned. There was just something about this comic book. I couldn't buy it digitally. I just like I felt like in the first experience I had with it, it needed to be in my hands. It had to be, and I'm
I was
so
working.
happy
I
I
was working
waited.
so much. I was working so much. I didn't have time to get to the shop, and it's one of those things where it's like I don't buy digital only for a lot of stuff. I always end up like when like a new Power Rangers drops, or even
Hmm.
I'm still getting flack for it. Alan Scott Green Lantern. I had to pick it up digitally because I wasn't gonna have time to go to a shop. I still wanted to review it, so I picked it up digitally,
Hmm.
and I still picked up my physical copy. That's a conversation for another time
Hmm.
because that comic got me in trouble.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
But yeah, no, it's I don't always buy digital. Just because I like to physically have these comics. I like having them organized by publisher
Yeah.
and by run and this and that. Like I have boxes just of Spider-Man, Power Rangers, this and that. Like so. Obviously, when I bought the physical, I read it again because I was like, no, now I got to sit there and like turn the pages. It's a different experience.
Yeah.
Like the smell of new comics.
Whew. And
It smelled
and
like money.
it did. Like it just smelled like wealth.
Uh,
It smelled like,
Generational wealth too.
oh yes. I mean,
Like
let's talk about that for a second. Like you can barely find a fucking copy anywhere.
nope.
Barely.
We were Dr. Ben, we were both trying to, find copies for him. My local shop out here I go to, it's mom and pop owned, but they got 3 locations. They
Hmm.
sold out every copy at all 3 locations. They said close to one location had 30 copies, one had 50,
Oh my gosh.
another one had I think 20, but the main one I go to, they only do pull list stuff. They don't really have extras. They because they
Mm,
do a lot of collectibles. So this location is in a mall, so they only have what's on your pull list outside of
mhm,
main run stuff. So they said, yeah, we're all out. There's another secondary shop I go to that's like kind of like my go-to for variants because they get a lot and they get their own. It's TC Rockets. They're all over social media. They're very known. They get a lot of
mhm.
artists and actors coming through. They get a lot of their own exclusive covers. They were like, we didn't get any variants, but they said they sold
Jeez.
like 50 plus issues day one before they closed. And they closed at and they open at like 11. They don't even open at like 8 a.m., So
Oh
they,
man.
within a 9 hour window, sold out of all their copies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
They said, they had people lining up and that doesn't happen.
yeah, it's rare. I think the last time I heard of people going crazy for a comic, I mean, I actually made a video about this. It was when Punchline debuted. Remember the hype around her?
Oh my
She was,
God.
yeah, like people were like actually like waiting outside the stores. Like it got so bad to the point where even before the issue came out, they said, "Yo, if you didn't pre-order it, don't come here asking us for it. Don't if you didn't pre-order, we don't got you because people were people were wilding for that. They were wilding.
Speaking of, if you guys collect comics, please have a pull list with your local comic book shop. Please.
Please.
Like this kind of guarantees them money. And don't let it go in like the like whatever they want to call it, where like you don't pick your comics up because that hurts them too. I go at least once every other week. I used to go once a month, and I had a folder in like a filing cabinet that was just full of comics because they would hold them for me. And a lot of shops too, they have memberships. Like mine does an
Mhm.
annual one. It's like $10. I get 20% off new issues. I get
Same.
15% off supplies. I get 30% off back issues. So I go back and hit the floppies of like back issues I'm missing, variants I'm missing.
Mhm.
That's what come out with back and got all the Radiant Black variants for the last like 20 something comics. Like always hit up your local comic shop. They even sometimes they'll do discounts on trades and this and that.
Yep.
Like I always local comic shops like all the time. I know it's easier to get your trades on Amazon. They can special order you stuff too. They do it for
Yep.
me all the time. They'll order omnis if they don't carry them. They'll hook you up. Like
Yeah.
local comics are cool. I even hang out sometimes, just chat with them for like an hour.
To build on that, Mark is totally right. For real. If you guys want to avoid any headaches for issue 2 and 3, because again, this is a brand new run. It's Jonathan Hickman, it's Mark Cicchetto, so there's a good chance the next couple issues will sell out. It's as easy as either going up to him and be like, "Yo, I want to subscribe to Ultimate Spider-Man. Can you put this in my pull list?" They got you. That way, you lock in a copy. So when you hear about motherfuckers running to this comic book shop, you don't gotta do. You don't gotta worry about that because your copy is already secure right there. That's what I did. The moment I start feeling the hype. I felt the hype for Ultimate Spider-Man. I say, let me hit up my comic book shop. and can you put me down? And they got me. What's a comic book shop? I got everything 20% off. Anytime I
Oh
need
yeah.
trades, they got me. The discount still applies. I even got into the habit of ordering omnis now. Yeah, back to Ultimate. So yeah, let's talk about some of these changes. Let's talk about some of these changes.
Yes,
So
there's a lot, but not drastic where you wouldn't notice.
yeah,
Like the main one for me is Harry and Peter don't have any sort of correlation to each other. Harry
yeah,
Osborn,
that's
and also
right.
we have a dead Norman.
And a dead Aunt May.
Yeah, so it's almost like 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 you said before, everything like twisted and turned on its head. It's like Ben's alive, May's dead. Yes, Harry and Norman are usually both alive, but having the knowledge of Peter Parker villains, we now have Green Goblin, the main Green Goblin, is not in the Ultimate Universe right now.
I'm not gonna lie, it took me for a loop. It took me for a
Yeah.
loop because I like I said, I don't know if I mentioned before when we were recording, but I didn't read Ultimate Invasion. I didn't read any of the build up to it.
Yeah,
So
same.
just going into this and not knowing, like, oh wait, Tony Stark did what? Tony Stark killed who? And I was like, I was
And
shocked.
I don't think that was in the Ultimate Invasion because this was, I believe it was touched on in the Ultimate Universe one.
Oh,
I
okay.
got to reread it. I've only read it once and I wasn't paying attention fully when I read it. But no, I don't think that was really touched on. But I like that even without reading Ultimate Invasion or even Ultimate Universe, I read Ultimate Spider-Man first. You still had the idea of everything that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it the Maker is his name, the Reed Richard alternate like version.
Yeah.
I always like that character. So I'm like, okay, so is he technically the big bad in the Ultimate Universe now? Is this what's gonna go for? Because like I'm excited for like future stuff now. Because I know
Yeah.
Hickman doesn't do long term. Like he's
Hmm.
not gonna be on this book for 50 issues, you know. He's
No.
not gonna be on this book for 30. He might put in what, like maybe 15, maybe 20 at most, if we're lucky. So it's like I know he's not gonna drag it out too long, especially because he is also writing the Ultimate Universe. I forgot who's writing the other two books, which is X-Men and Black Panther. And I have those on my list. I don't know if you are going to
Yeah.
pull them. I'm pulling them just out of curiosity.
Oh, I'm pulling Black Panther because it's Brian Hill is writing Black Panther, and
Oh, yeah.
then
Okay.
Peach Momoko is doing Ultimate X-Men. I'm not familiar with Peach Momoko, but I'm gonna give it a try anyways because it seems like a very different take on X-Men. And going back to the Maker, I've been giving Marvel a lot of shit. I don't know. There's not really any continuity. I feel like each book or each set of books is its own continuity, but I do have to give them credit because the Maker dates all the way back to, I believe, Donny Cates' Thor run, not Thor, Venom run.
No.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm like, oh,
I love you, Donny Cates.
this has been like steady buildup because even in his Venom run, people were talking like, yo, is the Ultimate Universe coming back? But we had no idea then because that was like way back in like 20, I don't know, maybe 2017, 2018. The rumblings were here,
Definitely.
but now look at us now. Like the Ultimate Universe is back and the buildup has been there. So I got to give Marvel their credit. I got to give them their credit.
I don't. I like to think sometimes when this happens, it's like a happy accident. Like I don't think back then they planned this far in advance because you kind of tell with some of their runs, but I do think this was definitely the pieces just fell in perfect place where people in that, and even if it
Mm,
wasn't intentional, people are going to go back and be like, "Who's the Maker? Let me go back and look at this other stuff."
yep.
Like, and that's what I like about comics is you can pick up anywhere.
Hmm.
You can get it like this. You could jump into this right now and be like, this is good. Like you said, you have no real history with Spider-Man. I have a deep history with Spider-Man, and then I stopped after Amazing Spider-Man 700. And then I started reading like Superior Spider-Man because I'm a big Donny Cates and Dan Slott fan and this and that.
Hmm.
Like you give me any, especially Dan Slott, you give me anything Dan Slott Spider-Man, I'm just inject that into my veins. Like that's, I don't care what it says, that is the premier Spider-Man writer. And
Yeah.
with this is just I'm now like, who's the Maker? And I was like, I looked it up really quick because I was doing some research. And I was like, Reed Richards, like alternate, like he go a little crazy. I was
Hmm.
like, oh, let me see what other. And I even have like a little list right now. And I'm like, all right, I got some. I got some assigned reading to do now.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part. That's what gets me hyped about comics is when I get to go back and read stuff I haven't read before on my own terms to get the optional lore and background that I like. For all we know, Hickman could explain the Maker more, or
There
it
you
wasn't
go.
explained in Ultimate Invasion. I don't know this,
Hmm.
but like I'm still gonna go back and read this other stuff just because I'm curious. Give me more
Yeah.
history of this character.
That's what I appreciated about it as well. Because it's like, I don't know, for me, when I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man #1, I felt like I was transported back to 2016 when I first got into comic books. I have no idea who most of these characters are outside of like a base knowledge, but I was able to just like jump in and everything is explained. But there's also enough pieces where I just like, yo, I kind of want to go back and do the science real quick. And then when you do the
Right.
science and then you go back to it, it's like, oh, this is dope. This is dope.
Right.
Like for me, like I said this on Friday with on the stream with Ben and Blackwing, like this has to be one of the best #1s in a very long time.
It's for the last calendar year. I'm gonna say we've had some really good #1 restarts on some things. Wonder Woman #1,
Oh yeah.
Green Lantern War Journal is probably one of the best things DC is doing right now, and I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. Always have been. I got 2 Green Lantern tattoos. I got it on my back. I got it on my arm. I love Green Lantern, and that's just this one of the ones where I'm like, okay, there's only like 3 good John Stewart runs, and this is one of them because
Yeah.
he's always been the ensemble character, but he's never had good solo runs. I'm like, this is so good. Trying to think what other good #1s we've gotten so many. Uh, Obviously I'm biased. I think even though it's a short run, the No One #1 from Kyle Higgins over at
Oh, okay.
Image
Yep.
with
Mm-hmm.
the companion podcast, doing things I haven't seen before, where in the comic themselves, they're talking that one of the characters has a podcast. Then when you're done, you go and listen to that actual podcast. Just dude, read the comic, dim the lights, put the earphones in, listen to the podcast, and it's full immersion, like into the world. But this for Marvel, I have not felt a #1 like this, and I keep saying it since Powers and House of X, because I was a big X-Men comic fan too, and then I fell off. I was like, there's too much. It's all over the place. Too many crossovers, too much stuff, too spread out like Batman was post like Blackest Night and Brightest Day, where there's Batman Inc., Batman
Mm-hmm.
and Robin, Bat Family, everything. There's like too much. X-Men was brought back to an isolated one focal point.
Mm-hmm.
This is up there with it. And this is a great entry point for people who like Spider-Man but are tired of the generic
Yeah.
day-to-day Spider-Man we've gotten
Yeah. And
because it's new.
it's new, and I feel like when Hickman was approached with this, Hickman probably said, if you're gonna give me this, I need to run the show. I can't have too many cooks in the kitchen, because that is ultimately what happened with X-Men, and that's why he left. So that's my hope.
Yeah.
Like I hope that, if Hickman is the one that's running the Ultimate Universe, let him be the showrunner. That's not to say we can't have other talent coming in, but like make sure it's natural, make sure it makes sense. Let's just not,
Mm.
oh, because it's making a bunch of money, we're gonna throw all these cooks in the kitchen, because that's what happened with X-Men. But let's let it have like a natural growth. Because I think this could be the redemption from what happened with X-Men. I feel it because it's starting off with Hickman, Brian Hill, and Peach Momoko.
The solicits obviously have already been out all the way up to issue 4 of all of these, and there's no
Mhm.
other Ultimate titles in that list.
Yeah.
So for right
So
now, at least we know the next 4 months it's very isolated.
yeah, and I just hope it stays honestly isolated. I really hope so, because because again, we're starting off with 3 pretty good writers, and if we get like a 4th one, maybe like a year somewhere down the line, I'm not mad at that. And then if we want to add on, I'm not mad at that. Let's just make sure it's enough where your regular person can follow on, because I think the big issue with X-Men, like you said, was that, yo, you can't jump into this. This is too much. Like when we were reading X-Men, I was reading X-Men, X-Force, and then Wolverine. And then all of a sudden now that multiplied into like 6 to 9 titles. That's
Mm.
not cost effective. And then it also doesn't
No.
help that it feels like you have to read them to understand the story. Ultimate Spider-Man, I was able to jump in. I didn't know shit. I want that to be the same for everybody else
Yeah.
jumping in, even if they're not reading Ultimate Spider-Man. Okay, you could jump in Ultimate Black Panther. Is that enough for you to jump in? Do you feel immersed? Do you need enough? Do you need to do all this extra homework? No, and that's how it should be with comics, honestly.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about the Ultimate Universe individual title that's also written by Hickman is you have Thor in there, you got Doom, you got
Mm,
Captain America, Stark, Lady Sif. So like those don't need their solo Ultimate comics because you have just a literal Ultimate Universe comic, which I like. That was
mm,
smart. Now, I'm biased. If they want to put Hulk in there, give it to Donny Cates because the Donny Cates Hulk run and that Thor run, a lot of people aren't talking about those from 2020 and 2020 to like 2022, 2023. And I know he had the accident and everything else, so we had some time off, but like those runs were good. I hadn't pulled Thor in so long, and then he made him a Herald of Galactus, and I was like,
you do
yeah,
what?
He made Thor a Herald of Galactus. Yeah.
Okay, I have been out the loop.
Post
Okay.
post War of the Realms, they made Thor just dominant. And his Hulk run was so good because we finally got the Banner Hulk duality again, which was missing for so long. Because we had Weapon Age and Immortal Hulk, and I was like, just give me straight up Hulk for once. Give me like a normal grounded Hulk, and then they gave us that, and then they had the Banner War where they were going at it, and I was like, it flew under the radar. No one talked about it. And Donny
Damn.
Cates was just in his bag in that time frame, but that was also when other comics were booming and a lot of people were talking more
Yeah.
about negative stuff in the comics. So no one was
Hmm.
it flew under the radar. That was the last time I was pulling Marvel for a while. Those were the only two issues on my pull list
Yeah.
for Marvel, anyways.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if Cates was able to come back. Obviously, I would want him to get better, and it sounds
Yeah,
like he's doing better these days. But
he's doing better, which is
oh yeah.
trying to bring it back to Ultimate Spider-Man.
Hmm.
The number one thing about this is we also have, and a lot of people don't bring up this fact, is the main thing is he becomes Spider-Man as an adult after he's already,
Yeah.
and I didn't know how this was stopped. So I had to go back and look up a couple panels
Hmm.
because I guess this happened in Ultimate Invasion. So Peter was teenager and the maker could jump through time. And so while Peter was, at his little field trip taking photography, the spider, I guess his hand was in the back of his head instead of where it was supposed to be originally. And the spider was on his hand. And this dude comes up and wearing a glove and swipes it off his hand and kills it. And he's like,
Oh.
watch out, this would have got you. And then he puts it in a vial. And it turns out that was the maker. The maker actually stopped the spider from biting him. And yeah, I was just like, because I had to do research. I was like, well, how is he not Spider-Man? They say he just, he alternated timeline, but like how? So when I went back and I looked that up, I was like, no. I was like, that is genius.
Bruh. Now I'm kind of mad I didn't read that shit. Now I'm kind of mad.
Like I gotta get the trade. I gotta get the trade because like I did my research because before we hit each other up, I was like, I'm gonna do a whole video about this, but I was like, I could do my research because I don't want to, I never read this whole Ultimate Invasion. I didn't even know the name. I was like, was it Battle World? I was like, I don't even know what this thing's called. I don't dive into Marvel crossover event stuff, like big events anymore, because
Hmm.
there were so many all the time.
Yeah.
But when I saw that, I was like, who else does he go back and change? I need to. So I didn't want to spoil anything else for myself. So I'm like, I'm gonna wait and go back and read those when there's like a trade or something.
It's crazy how all of this like pieced together, and my mind is blown. And it's such a minuscule thing, like how the changes are minuscule, but it's enough to make such an impact, and it's enough to even just like blow the mind of just like somebody who, like us, who knows the history of Spider-Man.
I can't tell you how many times I've had to like relive some sort of like origin for Peter Parker over
Yep.
the last 22 years, like where I'm just like, I don't need this anymore. Please, like, I don't need him getting bit by a spider and him learning. How many times I gotta watch Ben Parker die? Like, I don't need that anymore. Like, it's like the Batman thing where it's like, how many times I gotta see his parents get shot in an alleyway? Like,
Exactly.
It's
And
like, no, I don't need that anymore.
I wonder, and I'm sure Hickman will have interviews about this, but I am curious about what the pitch process was like. What inspired this? Because I don't know. Part of me feels like um Spider-Man has been in a very interesting spot over the past couple of years. So my thesis is that yes, it's still selling well. Yes, Twitter, you can hate the comic as much as you want, but there's people that buy it. But I feel like they kind of took that energy and was like, you know what? Let's just make a separate Spider-Man so we can actually, I don't know, make something different. Give people what they want. Because it's almost like they want to have their cake and eat it too.
I don't know if we said we're recording, we talked before it, like everyone's
Hmm.
saying this is what they wanted, the fan service, but not being
Hmm.
fan service, like for the sake of it. And you point out a good thing, like not having too many cooks in the kitchen with Hickman. I think, let's face it, this book sold on his name
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because he's consistent. He's a staple. That is a household name. And there's very few household names in major comics.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any situation where like have that conversation of like, I don't think he was given a lot of guidelines. I don't think,
Mm.
because this this feels so, like, it's like we talked about flipping on its head. This seems so far removed from the Spider-Man we know, but it feels like the Spider-Man we know.
Yeah.
Like it's still Peter Parker. It's still, the same New York. It's same Wilson Fisk. Jameson. It's still the same everything, but it's just like he definitely. I don't think he has a lot of, constraints. I don't think he was given a lot of footnotes. I don't think
Oh
he
no.
had an editor over his shoulder being like, "Can we
No.
change this?" I think, especially when you see what he did with X-Men, I don't think anyone was being like, "Hey, here's everything we want you to convey across this." I think they were just like, "It's the Ultimate Universe. Have at it."
Yeah.
'Cause I
And
think
and
that they're
I,
like that with a lot of their comics,
oh
honestly.
yeah. Because I think that's, I mean, not to go back to X-Men, but I think that could be one of the reasons why for people X-Men is working and why for others X-Men is not working. And I think that's ultimately what he wanted to do with X-Men. I don't know. I think the plan with X-Men was, okay, it's gonna be me, Hickman. Yes, I'll have, certain creators, they can do whatever, but I want to be the editor. I want to be,
Yeah.
the guy in charge here. But again, he still has to answer to people. So I think now, like I said before, I think this is the redemption where it's like, okay, fine, we'll give it the Ultimate Universe. If we do have some footnotes, it'll just be like minor things, but have
Yeah.
at it. Have at it. And I think there's potential for this to really like blow up the way the OG Ultimate Universe blew up. Because I didn't grow up
Oh,
in the OG Ultimate Universe. I didn't have that. So I'm happy now we get like, I guess you could call it like a second chance.
I would just point out though, like, because you said something before about you just getting into comics in 2016. Gee, like, dude, you're not even 8 full years into reading comics. You know your shit, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass. Like, I know people who've read comics longer that just don't grasp not just the comics themselves, but like how the fundamentals, the industry itself. Like,
Thank you,
damn,
brother.
you
Thank you.
you know, I'm a like someone who's on 8 years. You talk like an OG. Like, dude, I got called an old head the other day, and I felt so old. I was like, no. I was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I had to check. I had to check the license. I'm like, oh man, I am turning 38, aren't I? I was like, damn. But no, like,
Um,
because no, the knowledge is there, and it's like there's a lot of people who like are in this space who have been reading a lot longer, dumb as fuck.
yeah.
I was like, there's the only way I can put it because I don't have other words to convey it. Like,
Because I don't know, because there's just so much to like digest, and like there's like so many like different pieces of it, and
oh yeah,
it makes the experience better. It makes it experience like, oh, okay, well, I have some knowledge about this piece of it, this piece of it, this piece of it. So then it's just a constant. I don't even call it a battle. It's just like my brain is like always like firing off, and that, that's the part I love about it. Like even reading Ultimate Spider-Man, now I'm just like, oh shit, the the last couple pages, Tony Stark is talking about when I come back in 6 months' time,
Yeah.
I want to see the heroes of this world, like converge or something like that. I was just like, what does this mean? What does
Dude,
this mean? Are we getting more books? Like, what's going on? Like, how does it piece together? Like, that's my brain working, and I love my brain working that
I
way.
was the same way because, like, obviously we know from solicits for issue 2 on the cover we got Green Goblin,
Mm-hmm.
and instantly I'm like, well, there's no Norman. Wilson Fisk is alive, but someone tried to assassinate him. What's his road gallery gonna be like? Because when is the Maker just like this overall like the end boss, and then we got like all like so now I'm thinking road gallery. I'm thinking, okay, well, what's gonna happen in 5 months, not 6 months? Like,
Oh, man.
and now we have an older Peter who's getting his powers. So now we're gonna get an older Peter who doesn't know how to fight, who doesn't know
Yeah.
stuff. Like, and I'm thinking in my head, like, what would it be like if I just got the powers like tomorrow? I was like, man, I'd be like, do all my back pain go away? Like, if it's like healed up, like, I was like, so there's like, it's so unique because I feel like also older readers and younger readers because it's Spider-Man, but like a lot of us older comic book fans are gonna be like, yo, we got an older superhero, an older person becomes a superhero. I was like, there's so much to the Spider-Man like ecosystem
Yeah.
of characters because I'm just like, okay, so if no one has any powers, who else is going to get their powers back? And if it's just heroes, are there villains? Did villains not get their powers? Like, there's so many questions I have. Like, am I going to get Black Cat?
Oh,
Like,
man.
like I have so many questions. Like, I'm just like, because now if Peter and Harry don't seem to be friends and grew like other stuff, I'm like, who are his friends? Like, who else isn't? Is there Flash Thompson? Is there an Eddie Brock in this unit? Like, what
Yeah,
is this current? Like, I think about that stuff all the time because this is what keeps me interested. But I don't get let down when they don't appear, though. That's the thing.
exactly.
I always keep the hypotheticals in there. So if it does happen, I'm like, this answers a non-important question that I would have had.
Yeah, it's almost like if it does get answered, it's one of those things just like I didn't know I needed it until I got it. That's what it feels
Yeah,
like. Because you mentioned you had some questions, right? Here's one person we didn't even talk about yet. Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock was
yeah,
there.
that's what. Yeah, as a priest, Father
Yeah.
Murdoch. I was like,
So what
which
does
is kind
this?
of funny play on because he was called the devil of Hell's Kitchen, and now he's a priest. And I was like, that, and that's something where I was like, I was like, that is so tongue in cheek.
So now I'm wondering, okay, well, is there a Daredevil in this universe? Like if there isn't, I'm fine. But also I do have to say this because again, nerd brain, like it was nice seeing Chichetto draw Matt Murdock again because again he just came
Yeah,
off of Daredevil.
right.
So again, my brain is wondering like, okay, what we're seeing these characters, but what's their role? Like for all we know, Matt Murdock may never don the Daredevil suit.
Yeah,
We
he may never show up again in the whole entire run,
Yeah, so
but it was a nice nod
it's a very nice nod.
because it's kind
So
of like
it
the okay, where are they if they didn't have their powers type of thing. So it's like,
yes,
okay, I get it. Like if he's never shown again, at least we know, hey, well, if all the superheroes like wonder what Matt Murdock's up to. Oh, he's a priest. Like, oh,
yeah,
fair enough.
fair
Thank
enough.
you.
Yeah, and oh, that's the thing. He's a priest in the current run. His current ongoing. He's a priest.
Oh, I haven't read. I'm not reading his current ongoing.
Yeah, Saladin Ahmed is writing it actually.
Oh, he is. Oh, I'm gonna have to
Yes,
check it out then because I was hoping he was. I didn't know he was gonna move on to after Miles Morales because I think for someone, he's a newer writer too. He doesn't have a big backlog of things he's read. I think he only wrote like one thing before. I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man or not Ultimate, was it Miles Morales Spider-Man? He only wrote one thing before that,
hmm
so he's still a new booty writer to Marvel and comics in general. So him getting Daredevil, it's a big deal, honestly, because Daredevil runs are hit or miss with Marvel,
yeah,
and sometimes they get ended because. They aren't doing well, but I'm gonna have to check that out then.
So I'm actually kind of happy that it's a little bit of a nod to his current run and Chip's run because it
Yeah.
happened at the end of Chip's, but it continued into Ahmed's. But yeah, I know it's getting a little late. I'm very happy with this first issue. Don't know what to expect. I'm trying my best not to read solicits too much, especially for this because I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
But
It
man,
didn't help
there's
because when I bought it
Mhm.
digitally, it showed the next 2 months covers.
Oh,
So I was like, because it was trying, the Kindle was trying to get me to pre-order ahead of time. I'm like, nah. I was like, until the day digitals aren't the same price as physicals, I ain't gonna buy that much digital because
I don't
they
blame
should be
you.
cheaper, 20% cheaper minimum.
Yeah, and it's crazy because as we know with digital platforms, they can swipe the shit from you even though you own it at any single time.
Oh, Comixology, that,
Mm,
that it was crazy. I don't even want to.
yeah.
That was
Uh,
yeah, but no, this is easily. I think it's gonna be top three for the
oh yeah.
top 200.
Oh yeah.
Easily, probably number one. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably gonna be number one.
Well, Amazing
Just go
Spider-Man
based
is
off
always
of
one
what I
or
heard.
two. So I think
Yeah,
this would either be like from what I can say, it's either gonna be Amazing Spider-Man as one or Ultimate Spider-Man as one. They'll flip flop back and forth, and then Batman will be like number 3 or 4
yeah.
always, and then everything else is everything else.
I mean, with what I'm seeing from the shelves and this and that, like I think Ultimate Spider-Man is probably gonna be number one.
Oh
That
yeah,
that I never see getting cleared day one of all
like
shops in San Diego. There's a
that's
lot of shops out here.
yeah. We have a lot of
Like
shops here too.
it's and it's such a good, but like I gotta talk about, like, you gotta read the book. Like, yeah, we kind of spoiled some stuff, but we didn't go page by page because I don't like page by page reviews. I like
Nah.
discussions on books. I tried to do
Mhm.
it. I got some reviews where I tried, and then I can't. Like you said on Friday, your Friday stream, like you don't really like reviewing comics as they come
Nah.
out. I
Nah.
try certain ones that I like really care about. I will talk about and do a video about, but this comic is
Man, like so like I don't want to say like little happened, but like nothing crazy happened, but the shit that happened, it's enough to just generate conversation. And again, that's what I love about this game. That's
yes,
what I
and
love.
especially if you go on social media for the people who don't buy stuff.
Oh god, listen, I'll say this right now. If you one of the motherfuckers who pirated Ultimate Spider-Man, it sucks for you because let me tell you right now, like it feels so good after all the hype to have the issue in your hands. Like you can't get this feeling from readcomic.com. I'm sorry. You can't.
Ugh,
You can't. Like this is wealth right here. This is wealth.
dude,
Th- th-
you don't. I don't know about you. My comic book smells like boycott.
oh yeah. Mm,
Like, like I
ugh.
don't. Also, I really need the variants, and I'm hoping they do a special variant for the freaking the second print because I feel like they
Mm,
will. Because this is going to second print. This is probably a fourth print book. Because what I people
yeah.
know is even issue one of Miles Morales Spider Man from Ahmed that went to third print.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I had to hunt down a first print because I had ended up picking up a second print variant, but it was a virgin cover, so I didn't even know it was second print
Holy
until I looked at
shit.
the back of it. It said second print under the barcode, and I was like, "Oh shit, I don't got a first print. I don't do. I'll have. I only get second prints if I already have a first print. Like I don't do. I need first prints and everything. And
Well, actually, oh, hold on. I was gonna bring this. Yeah. So Bleeding Cool announced some things here. So it says, well, Ultimate Spider-Man 1 has sold copies for $45. Let's see here. It topped
damn,
sales, outperforming Rise of Powers of X, which is not surprising.
I'm not.
Copies on eBay are like 25 to 45. Marvel announces
Mm-hmm.
rush second printing as first issue sells out completely. The last time I heard of something like this was one um again House and Powers, two Punchline, and nothing else. I think Radiant Black also sold out like pretty somewhat similarly
One of
because
them
that was a
did,
big book.
but
Yeah.
before that, Batman Damned #1
Oh
because
yeah. Oh,
the
Bat
Bat Penis.
Penis. Yeah.
That's the one of the few times where I remember people just like losing their minds, being like, "Yo, where can I get this?" Like I better post online, and people are like, "I can't find it anywhere." This and that, and I'm like, "That's why you get a
Tough.
pull list.
Yep.
Get a
That's
pull
what,
list."
yo,
I've had one since 2013.
listen, to close, because we're gonna wrap up. We will, me and Mark will always, always, always say this. If you don't want to be asked out whenever these comic books come out, and then you hear that it's selling out, or you go to the comic book shop and they say they don't have any copies, again, it's as simple as saying, go to the cashier, yo, I want to be sub to XYZ. Their job is to order that for you and to put it aside for you every single week. So when you get there, it's there. You don't have to worry about nothing selling out.
And they can get
Nothing.
you rare stuff too. Because like I
Yep.
get, let me see if I can find it. I don't think I have it in this stack because I haven't put anything back. So there's this random publisher called Ablaze, and they
Mm-hmm.
do Saint Seiya Knights of the Zodiac comic.
Oh,
Never heard of them. That's on my pull list. They find me that. They will find me anything from any publisher. When they were doing the Common Rider 01 comic from like Stonebot and this and that, that wasn't a major publisher that was doing it. It was a Latin American publisher. They found it and got it on my pull list for me.
no,
Like you can get anything from them. They will find you anything. And
they'll find
my
anything.
shop and a lot of shops do this. They give you a big sheet. It has listed by publisher all the major names. You just check off. And if it's a specific one, like we're like, oh, I want Hulk, but there's Immortal Hulk. There's Weapon H. Which one do you want? You check out Spider-Man. Well, do you want Ultimate? Do you want Amazing? Do you want Spectacular? Do you want Miles Morales? What do you like? You could specify everything, and it makes it so
Yep.
much easier.
And
You can
my
even write down
shop.
authors.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
I do that. That's how I do things. I write down authors. I'm like, Melissa Flores, Kyle Higgins, Dottie Cates, Hickman. Like I just write down. I'm like anything from them. If it's new or already on my list, pull it.
Yeah, and what I do also is what my shop does is they send me the PDFs of the previews. So they send me the stuff from Marvel that's coming out. They send me the PDFs of DC. They send me the PDFs of like Image, and then there's like, hey, bro, these are the January previews, March, April. Just let me know if you need anything, and then we'll just put it on there for you. And it's just simple as, again, just sending an email. Oh, hey, I want this. They put it
Yeah.
aside, and you don't gotta worry. You don't gotta
Yeah,
worry.
usually when the new like preview like catalog books come out, they'll just put them in my little section, and they're like, "Hey, here's your
Yep.
previews," and like, "Here's a big Marvel book," and I save them too. I don't throw those out. I was like, I got a little
Yeah.
stack of the actual physical preview books, and I was like, I like going back and when they used to hype up. Do you ever see when they used to do the thick books? I miss the thick, smaller ones. Now they're the size of comics. They used to do like little short ones that look like little manga volumes.
They still
I
got them.
miss when they used. Oh, I get mine. A lot of mine come like that now.
Yeah. The shops carry like the big thick ones,
Yeah,
but these are the brand specific. So this one's DC Connect,
yeah,
but Marvel has one as well. And I don't know
yeah.
about Image or the other ones, but yeah, but the
I don't
comic
think
shops have the
Image
big
sends
thick
me
boys.
emails. I would sign
Yeah.
up, honestly. If you guys don't want to do all that with the comics, just sign up for the email list for any of your publishers, and they send you your solicits ahead of time. Like, hey,
Yeah.
check out these that are coming in February. Because
Yeah.
we're already 2 months out for solicits right now. So
Yeah.
you guys can get an idea of what's around the bend, especially Marvel. I got Marvel stuff on my pull list because I mean, you got me putting all this DC shit on my list. Now I'm gonna put fucking Marvel on my list. Man, I got so much DC right now.
Dude, I appreciate you coming through, man.
Oh, that was fun.
This was great. So I'll give you a second to plug yourself.
That's me, nerd named Mark. I've been sick, but I'm hopped up on meds, so I haven't really been making content lately. I do some comic book stuff, mainly talk about Toku toys now lately because that seems to be what everyone likes to see. Haven't dropped any new merch. I still have wave 2 of the drop that came out in December live on my merch store. I'm working on wave 3 right now. Got some Power Ranger stuff in the works for merch because I'm trying to hit I had to wait because Power Ranger now that fandom is I can't put out booty merch or else they're gonna eat me alive.
Mm.
Um, if you're watching this, please subscribe to Ro's channel. I don't want him to get to 700. I want this man at 1,000.
Oh no, hold on. Enough about me. No. You need to plug your own YouTube channel first, bro.
I already hit my goal. I already hit my goal. Look at that, like 1.19. Like I hit my. Listen, it took me a couple years to hit 1,000. You know, I was like, I'm good. I'm done. Like that's it. Although I can't upload any more videos because look at that video count number. Like I can't. I'm done. I retire.
Oh my god. Gee,
I retire.
Whoo! My goodness.
I'm retired.
699. I'm only at 201.
Dude.
Oh
my! I was
uploading
a lot of videos. Like,
oh, dude, good for you, man.
A lot of stuff don't show. Like, I hit, I think, 500,000 views last year total on the channel. Like, dude, I had to private some stuff because I got some strikes for music, but like, I had a lot of videos. Like, I documented all my tattoos, so I had all the videos up. But the background music in the shop got me. So I had to take them down. And those videos had freaking like 30, 40, 100K views on them. Like,
are you serious?
For getting tattoos? Yeah. People eat that. I put those up 12 years ago. I've had this channel since YouTube started.
Holy crap.
This is a legacy channel. Yeah. I just never was consistent with making content.
Holy
the last 2 years is the only time I actually tried.
Yo, that is crazy.
Yeah, but no, I need to plug my stuff. We gotta get you to 1,000 subs. Like that's like we gotta get that. You guys have until March.
Yo, honestly, I got a buddy of mine. We talk every day. He's like, dude, by my birthday, which is coming up in like 5 months. Yeah, I'm gonna hit that 1,000. I'm gonna hit that 1,000.
Definitely. I've seen the growth and the live streams. You guys gotta check out the lives. You guys don't understand. Like, doing videos like this is easy because you can edit out dead air, but like to have a live presence, that's a lot different.
Yeah.
So you guys gotta check out the lives. The lives are, especially when I got a random alert. It's like, oh, you're live. I was like, man, I just DM'd him talking about Sunday or Monday, and then I look and you got you and Ben and Wing on there, and I'm like, oh, y'all just showing off your comics and your wealth at
here we go again.
The hour.
Here we go again.
And then randomly yesterday I saw a pop up. I was like, oh, he's playing Tekken. I was like, okay,
yeah, all right. This is just a testing phase. This is a testing out phase. But yeah.
How you have to do it with this. You have to test, see what works. Go back every couple months, see that's why I like those weekly YouTube recaps and the monthly ones. I've seen. I'm taking notes on what's working, what's not. I'm constantly watching video editing software, YouTube tutorials, thumbnail stuff. I got to get an editor or thumbnail guy though, because I'm getting tired of doing it.
No, I actually stole. I don't want to say stole, but I took inspiration from like this wrestling YouTube channel. So I saw his style and I kind of like emulated that into my own. And once I started doing that, like it's easier and like people love it. They eat that shit up, bro.
Oh, go look at my my Green Lantern, my comic book reviews I've done over the last few months. I stole your thumbnail freaking design real quick. I was like, oh shit, the little banner, the little bar with the words and the drop shadow on the image with the blurred comic in the background. I'm like, oh, that's genius. I stole it real quick with the Green Lantern ones. The Godzilla versus Justice League versus Kong. I was instantly like, I'm stealing that. I'm commandeering that.
Good. Hey, listen, that's what it's all about, brother. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Especially like Godzilla versus Kong versus Justice League. Oh my god.
Yo.
Yeah, you got to pull that run. You got to pull that run.
I need to. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Dude, Godzilla bodied Superman.
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm. Good old boy, and the G-boy took out Soups.
Okay, I know. Okay, all right. I'm gonna wait for that one to come out on trade. Oh, I'm gonna wait for that one. But thank you guys. For tuning in. We are at 671. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning into the random streams. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. Much love, much peace, Mark. Once again, it is a pleasure having you on. It's always dope talking comics with you,
mine. And get him to 1,000. He'll buy you guys Omnis.
Yo, see, bro, you can't throw that. Yo, see, yo. This is how rumors spread. This is y'all not helping, dude.
You can't.
I
I can't
show
even do
y'all
giveaways
one
on
picture.
YouTube anymore.
You can't?
It's dude. I was doing a giveaway on Twitter and I linked it to like my YouTube and I put it in one of my community posts. Counts as predatory practices now.
No way.
It counts as you trying to solicit subscribers. So you can't even do giveaways on YouTube. You got to do them on social media now.
Fine. I guess that's fine.
They actually removed my video. They removed my video off of YouTube and my community post. And they removed unlisted any video that had the giveaway link in the description. So I had to remove it from the description to get my videos put back up too.
Oh, they're not playing.
Mm-mm.
Oh shit! Damn. Okay,
That TOS is strict.
Well, this I don't gotta buy anybody shit. I'm enjoying my wealth by myself. Let's go.
Right.
All right, y'all. But much love, much peace. It's your boy Roliver Queen. Me and Mark are out.